Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. Today, Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. Now on the Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein beat. I'm calling it the Maxwell beat because she's still alive. And so she sought immunity from the House Oversight Committee, and they've said no, they're not going to give any immunity. Well, I guess they're not going to get any information. But last night at midnight, there was unless you can, I guess, force someone to speak, there's a Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. I guess some people have concluded they just won't believe her at all. But if they carry that over, be aware, many cases here in the SDNY and other federal courts are done with cooperators. And I mean many. They had them even in the Roman Storm case. I'll get to that in a moment. Last night at midnight, there were filings by DOJ in both the Epstein and the Ghislaine Maxwell cases for justifying meeting the deadlines of Judges Berman and Engelmeyer as to why they want things unsealed. Now, we put it up. You can find it on Inner City Press. But the August 5th deadline looms for victims to say they want their names redacted, which will just take more time. And then we'll see how they rule. Today, the closing arguments in U.S. versus Roman Storm of Tornado Cash. It's all come up. It's basically, to me, it's a highly philosophical case, and I think, well, we're going to have to see. But it does. It's telling that the sanctions went on and came off. We'll see how the sides close it out. Speaking of cover-ups, we did a filing yesterday, and now it's been docketed and a deadline set to unseal the transcript of July 25th, in which the prosecutors were talking about, and I stand by this, there's a reason that Tom Schmidt didn't testify and said he was going to cite the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. There's a reason that they started talking about others at Dragonfly and then sealed the transcript. And there's a reason that, having reported that and then having it been somehow denied, we've asked to unseal the transcript. At a minimum, but I don't think that's enough. Even the reason that it's sealed was sealed. And of course, if the reason is possible future prosecution, it shows exactly what was said. It doesn't say exactly, but that's what they're even denying. And that's why it was wrong to withhold that. And we did that citing our win this week in Lee versus Greenwood, in which the Second Circuit panel said you got to give reasons and remanded it. So more on that to follow. We'll be covering those closing arguments, but also, strangely, in a parallel world at the same time at 10 o'clock, 1 hour into the closing arguments of Roman Storm, Mr. Hill and Mr. Rodriguez of Samourai Wallet are pleading guilty. Now, they must have gotten a very good deal. I'm going to say that here. I'm going to do my absolute best to go in, because they don't publicize the deal. They just say, we got a guilty plea. But how low did they go to get? Because it's basically like, it's like gambling. They basically, with uncertainty on the horizon, if Roman Storm is convicted, Hill and Rodriguez are facing a tough case. If he's exonerated, found not guilty, then they might not even face a case. They certainly face an easier case. And so before that new information came out to decide it, they cut a deal. Clearly they had some leverage. U.S. had some leverage over them, the possibility of big prison yard time. So what is the guideline? We'll try to find out. There's also a Blake Lively proceeding in the afternoon. It's not the main one, but it's something. We wrote yesterday about a Twitter account with 256 followers filing an anonymous complaint to try to quash a subpoena. Why is this person being subpoenaed? Why are any third parties being subpoenaed? This case is out of control, but we're going to continue to cover it. And finally, of course, we cover the United Nations. Yesterday we wrote a scoop about UNMISS, South Sudan. Today we have two more over the transom from UN whistleblowers. And you know what? Antonio Guterres, corrupt censor, has his spokespeople, including Farhan Haq, who's on duty this week since the other guy, Stefan Dujarric, is on vacation. They don't answer any questions. And these are questions about their own people and the use of money. So it's totally unacceptable. We've applied to re-enter for the General Assembly, which Keir Starmer will be there. We aim to be too. Litmus test. We're going in.